In 1138, a Muslim scholar walked into the court of a Christian king in the middle of the Crusades and was handed the most ambitious cartographic project in the world. The result would be the most accurate world map for the next 3 centuries. At the very moment Christian and Muslim armies clashed in the Holy Land, a Christian monarch trusted an Arab geographer above all others to map the known world. But to understand how al-Idrisi ended up in a Christian court, we need to go back 2 centuries to Baghdad and the greatest knowledge institution of the medieval world. The House of Wisdom, Bayt al-Hikma, was the great translation and research center of Abbasid Baghdad. Ptolemy's Geography, the most important geographic text from antiquity, was among the first major works translated into Arabic here. But Arab scholars didn't just translate, they tested, corrected, and expanded. They synthesized the Greek frameworks from Ptolemy, Indian numeration including 0, and Persian administrative geography, detailed records of provinces, roads, and distances. From this synthesis came original breakthroughs, algebra, refined astronomical calculations, and the direct attempts to measure the Earth's circumference commissioned by the caliphs themselves. Translation was only the starting point. The real innovation was combination. With Ptolemy's ideas now in Arabic, a new question emerged, one that would divide civilizations. How much of the Earth is water? Medieval Christian maps, called mappae mundi, depicted the Earth as overwhelmingly land. An apocryphal biblical text, 2nd Esdras, claimed 7/8 of the world was dry. That left little room for oceans and made long sea voyages seem pointless. Ptolemy's view, transmitted through Arabic translation, proposed the opposite, vast oceans covering much of the globe. This opened the theoretical possibility of reaching distant lands by sea. The modern answer, 71% water, shows Ptolemy was far closer to reality. The difference wasn't just numbers on a page. Look at the maps themselves. Christian TO maps, the standard European world map until around 1300, divided the world into 3 simple sections. Asia on top, Europe and Africa below, separated by thin waterways. Oceans appeared only as a narrow border. East faced up toward paradise. These were symbolic maps, not navigational tools. Now compare a Ptolemaic map transmitted through Arabic scholarship. Larger ocean areas, recognizable coastlines, more geographic detail. But Ptolemy made a critical error preserved in every copy. He believed Africa connected to a massive southern landmass, sealing off the Indian Ocean. That meant no ship could sail around Africa. This single mistake would shape exploration policy for over 1,000 years. To answer the question of what the world truly looked like, Arab geographers didn't just read books. They walked, they sailed, they rode across continents for decades. Al-Muqaddasi spent 20 years traveling before completing his masterwork in 985, the best division for knowledge of the regions. Starting from Jerusalem, he looped through Syria, Iraq, Iran, Central Asia, the Arabian Peninsula, and North Africa. His work combined hard data, routes, distances, trade goods, with qualitative ethnography, customs, languages, local products. This wasn't armchair scholarship. He described places he'd walked through, markets he'd haggled in, ships he'd sailed on. Then consider Ibn Khaldun, born in Tunis in 1332, who traveled east through Egypt and the Middle East, across the Indian Ocean to India, Southeast Asia, Indonesia, and all the way to China, a journey spanning over 12,000 miles. These men mapped the world with their feet. And sometimes Arab geographic expertise was so renowned that even their rivals came calling. Which brings us back to Sicily and the story we started with. In 1138, King Roger II of Norman Sicily, a Christian monarch ruling a multicultural island of Muslims, Christians, and Jews, hired al-Idrisi to compile a comprehensive world map with accompanying geographic texts. The project took 15 years. The result, completed in 1154, was the Tabula Rogeriana, the most accurate world map of its era, and it would remain unsurpassed for 3 centuries. Now look at the timeline. The First Crusade captured Jerusalem in 1099. The Second Crusade launched in 1147. Al-Idrisi worked in Sicily through all of it. Military conflict and intellectual collaboration ran on parallel tracks. The common belief that medieval Christians and Muslims existed in pure opposition, that's a myth. Knowledge exchange thrived even during war. But one of Ptolemy's biggest errors, transmitted faithfully through Arabic and back into Latin, would take another 3 centuries to correct. Ptolemy wrote his geography around 150 CE, claiming Africa connected to a southern landmass. Arab scholars translated it in the 9th century. They refined and transmitted it for 500 years. In 1406, a Latin translation brought Ptolemy back into European hands. Then in 1488, Bartolomeo Diaz rounded the Cape of Good Hope. A decade later, Vasco da Gama sailed from the Atlantic into the Indian Ocean, reaching India by sea. A 1300-year-old error finally disproved. But here's the key. Without Arabic preservation, Europe would never have had Ptolemy's framework to challenge. The story of Arab geography isn't just about maps. It's about how knowledge grows through synthesis, through travel, through collaboration across cultures. The most accurate picture of the world emerged not from one civilization alone, but from the willingness to translate, test, and build on the ideas of others.